Hi guys, we're back for the last little session with me, MexiGary, and John O'Brien here. John is, if you just joined us, John is a very prolific comedian on the scene, I would say.
Prolific?
Yeah.
Lazy cunt.
Nah, I think it's because you're, like I said earlier, you're very unique. You have a very unique style, don't you?
I don't know. I still don't know. See, that's what that earlier, I still don't know. I couldn't describe myself.
Right.
People go, what kind of comedy? So if I'm in Edinburgh and I give somebody a flyer, what kind of comedy do you do? I don't fucking know. I can't describe myself, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just talk and people listen. And
What was that thing you used to do with the whiteboard, where it was like taking bits off the audience? It was an improv kind of thing.
Aye, so that was I used to memorise things.
Right.
So when I done it in Edinburgh Festival, I've done it a few years. I do it every now and again. So I've learned how to memorise shit. So this just techniques I've learned. Anybody can do it. So in Edinburgh, I got a few years ago. I got every day I'd add to it a list of random words from the audience. So I'd get a list of words. It could be anything. So people put celebrities up. It could be Jobby, octopus. Fucking they give me awkward words. Loads of stuff. So I got up to 300 one year. So I memorised every word by number. So what would happen is I'd get it on the flip chart.
That's
so
right.
Then I'd start a story and then people would shout out a number, and without looking at it I'd have to incorporate that into the story. So I could have start off, say, pick a guy in the audience. Like Davey was walking down the street one day last year, and somebody will go, I put my hand up, so somebody will put so number, and then he's seen an octopus, so it just becomes this fucking surreal nonsense.
Yeah.
But it usually work quite well.
Yeah. You could get like a good 20 minutes out of that.
Oh, aye, totally aye.
At the very least. Yeah.
Aye, so that worked quite well, and I kind of started doing that when I first started doing Edinburgh. And because I kind of learnt these memory things, and I was fascinated because I could do things like I can memorise a pack of cards in order, shuffled. And it's just a thing that I learnt to do in it, and I was like, fucking hell, this is fascinating. I thought, let's see if I can incorporate that into my comedy. What?
You could actually memorise the pack of cards.
Aye, so in order, so if you shuffle a pack of cards, I can memorise them.
It's mental.
Takes about, I could do it, I've not done it for a while, so I could probably do it in 10, 15 minutes.
Jesus Christ, that is a talent.
But it's not a talent, it's a thing that I could teach you today.
Right, let's go to casino. Come on.
I can't do that.
You could count cards on blackjack.
I don't know. I don't know how to do that, but I think there is a technique. I think, but I think I could learn it, but I don't know how to do it.
Right.
So I think it's about the blackjack thing. It's about working out the chances of getting a higher or a low card coming out or something like that.
Right.
So you count the tens or the face numbers coming out. You count the low numbers, and depending on the percentage, you know the chances of getting a high card coming out. They burst you is higher, so you stick. So it's aye. But I don't something like that. I don't know how it works, but there is a technique which is learnable.
Right. And how is that transferable to making money?
What learning how to?
Yeah, you would think that would
cards?
You would think that would be. You're talking about blackjack again here.
All right, I know you mean how you memorise stuff.
Yeah,
to make money.
Yeah, I mean, like with your talent of being able to memorise the deck of cards. Like, how is there a way to transfer that to like
money?
Yeah,
I don't know.
There must be.
Well, I've done. I do memory training workshops now and again. I've not done them for a while, so I've actually taught people this and made money doing that. So I'm actually, like, there's a thing that I forgot about, because that I'm going to start doing. I'm actually going to start. Remember, we were talking about doing Zoom gigs and all that, and I didn't do any.
Yeah.
But I'm actually going to start a wee thing where I do my memory workshops online. So I do like an hour teaching this stuff online, but then putting a course. I'm going to put a course or something on Patreon, as well as other content that people could pay monthly for, so it might make money that way. So it's like I'll teach the hour for free, and then say if you want to learn more, go and see the thing. So it's an idea that I've got that I need to get my finger out and do.
Well, we'll be putting the Patreon link up on this on YouTube, guys.
I just started that last week, and I've got no videos up on it yet, so it's just there. But I just know it's one of these things that I need to do something with.
Yeah, it's definitely that is a transferable skill. This kind of memory thing.
Oh, totally.
I'm always amazed when I see comedians and they just do like an hour and there's no. You know, some of the guys like Stuart Lee does it on his, he writes it on his hand. I think that's kind of a gimmick as well, to be honest. But you know,
he plays on it, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah, he kind of. Oh wait, I'm sweating, so I forgot about that bit. But yeah, I think when I saw you doing your thing at the space, I was like, how's he remembering this entire hour of material?
Because everything kind of links together a wee bit, I think. I think a lot of the time what I'm doing now, so I kind of with that stuff, I kind of know start, middle, and end. But then in the middle, right, I could maybe a lot of the time I'll triggered with something, and it'll remind me of a bit that I've not done for a while. I'm just gonna go off in that bit, or maybe something new will come up.
Right.
So I've got wee bits that I know, but they all kind of fit together, and I could be doing a bit. We could be near the end, but then I remember a bit that I sometimes do earlier, and I'll go, oh fuck, I remember that, and then I'll do that bit. Right. But then all kind of works together.
But you still have to find a way to link to that, though, don't you?
Aye.
Even though you might have forgot it earlier, you've still got to find a way for the story that you're telling to link to it. So you just make something up.
Sometimes, see, it's like a natural conversation, but
right,
because you think about it, how long have we been on this?
Well, on Twitch?
No,
about 2.5 years.
How long have we been on it about tonight?
Tonight? We're talking about 4 hours.
No way. We've been on that long.
It's midnight. We started about 8. No, we started about 8:30. Yeah, so probably about 3.5 hours.
For sake. We breaks as well, so about 2.5.
Yeah.
So think about that, right? So we've spoke. So this is what I think that I do, right? So we've spoke kind of naturally. There's been an occasional wee awkward thing. There's a wee, because you get that in a conversation. You occasionally kind of go, no, that happens, right? But generally it's kind of flown.
Yeah.
Flew.
I think considering. What's the word? Well, it's flow.
Flowed.
Yeah, flowed, yeah.
So it's flowed. What was you going to say there?
It's floated.
It's floated.
Yeah. I think just the fact that, you know, this is interesting for me to have the first, because most of the time we're sitting here talking about amps and guitars and shit. It's interesting for me to be able to ask an actual professional comedian certain questions, and obviously sometimes the questions aren't gonna translate because you might be like, what the fuck are you talking about right now?
No.
Because I'm not a comedian, so. But it would probably be the same way if you had a comedian podcast and you had your first musician on.
Aye.
You know, there's gonna be speed bumps in the road. Totally. You know what I mean?
So what I was saying, I see the flow thing. What I was thinking, right? So see when you're having a normal conversation, right? So there's no structure, there's no script. So we've been chatting for 2 hours. There's no script, there's no structure. So it's natural.
Right.
So I think because I've done comedy for years, I can do that on stage where I'm not really thinking about it. I'm just chatting to a room full of people. So it took years of awkwardness, working in a script, having material, where now I'm just up there chatting to cunts.
Right.
So it becomes that, I'm just up there chatting. I've got material, but in the whole, I'm just chatting naturally to a room full of people.
So, as you said, when you started off doing comedy, was it scripted? Was it very, you'd memorise lines and
kind of
bullet points and, well, you know.
More bullet points. I was never a word for word guy.
Right.
Because that sounds kind of unnatural.
Right.
So I always had bits and I kind of knew where everything was.
Yeah. But when it comes to the beats of, like, because I know you're a very conversational comedian anyway.
Aye.
But you've still got certain bits in your set that are, I wouldn't say one-liners. You're not really a one-liner guy, are you? But you've got certain bits where the beat needs to be right to get to the punchline.
I kind of aye.
And you still know where that is.
Aye.
And how long you've got before the audience is going to lose interest in what you're saying.
I kind of know where to get laughs when I'm just chatting anyway.
Right.
So I couldn't explain. So if you ask me, how do I know? I don't. It's just an instinct, I think now. So it becomes an instinct. I know kind of where. So if I'm just talking to people in the crowd. I know where to get laughs.
Right.
And if you ask me where, I don't fucking know. If you ask me how I know, I don't know.
Right.
It's like if I'm on good form, it's kind of I'm just up there. When I feel like I'm on good form, I'm not thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm up there. So I feel as I've said this 3 times. If I'm up there having a laugh, I'm kind of up there just letting it happen. So it's a weird thing. It's not really me that's doing it. It's just happening. So I'm up there enjoying myself, and the comedy will kind of happen. It's like it's a weird thing, as if it's like channeling or something like that. You know what I mean? So I'm up there going. So they're just as if I'm just trusting it to happen.
Right.
And got up there without. So if I got up there, I'm trying too hard to be funny. That's when it's fucked.
You think the audience can sense that off you
Aye.
when you're trying too hard?
Aye, it's like if you're too needy on stage, desperate for a laugh, you're fucked.
Right.
Because it's like if you're, I learned a thing, right. I go off in tangents. Right? I done a sales job years ago, right. And I was going around home base. Remember home base? But you still get home base. And I was selling magic cloths. So these super absorbent cloths, right? They were shite. But did you ever watch QVC?
Yeah.
You watch QVC when you're pissed at night, and they're selling shite. But by the way they sell it, you're like, you kind of want to buy this shite, don't you? Because the presentation's brilliant. So you're like, fucking hell, it's a job in a stick. Take my money, that kind of thing. So yeah, I get taught. The guy that trained me taught me the presentation, and it was just a cloth that was good. When you got a free mop that fell apart.
Right.
And I'd sell loads of these just because of the presentation. But the guys told me, don't be desperate for sales. So it was like a wee table that you kind of spill coke and not cocaine. You spill coke and you mop it up. And you do. People are going, that's fucking brilliant, and then they buy the mops, and you get a commission on it.
Mad.
But then when I was training, I was leaning in sometimes. So you're kind of going. And that comes across as desperate. And the guy going, nobody buys off a desperate salesman.
Right.
So you're up there not giving a shit. So it's kind of a letting go of the outcome. If you're up there having fun, not giving a fuck if they want to join in at work. But if you're up there like, fucking please laugh. Why are you not laughing? You're scared.
But you can only get to that level if you're confident in your ability anyway.
I think so, aye.
You know what I mean?
Aye.
Like a new comedian couldn't go up there and not give a fuck because they're nervous. They want the laughs, you know. They want the laughs. As I say, apparently it's like you're judged every 12 seconds on stage as a comedian. But
it's kind of when you get to a stage, you don't give a fuck what the audience think. In a way, it's not that you don't give a fuck, but it's like it's kind of like so here it is. So you can't do anything about how they react. So it's like getting up going, I'm up here having a fucking good laugh. If you guys want to join in, good. If you don't, I'm having a good laugh anyway. Whereas that not giving a fuck, you're more likely to get a good laugh.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's another thing I can relate to there, man. Because on the last gig of the year, we played a wedding at Oran Moore, and it was just going averagely. And I don't like average gigs.
I love an average gig.
No, I don't like average gigs. Well, I like average gigs because it makes me work for it. You know what I mean? And I mean me, the drummer and bass player, they play the songs as.
You're the front man. You're the energy.
You know. But I like to get cocky with the audience when they're not being.
Aye.
If they're not there, I'm not doing my job.
Aye.
You know what I mean? And I was like, listen, guys, we're gonna have a great time right now. And if you don't dance to this next tune, we're gonna play Rage Against the Machine for the rest of the night.
Aye.
Right. And we played Brown Eyed Girl, which is always. I mean, you can't.
Aye.
I mean, everybody from fucking 16-year-old. You know, Stacey to 90-year-old Agnes loves Brown Eyed Girl.
All that. She's looking well for her age, isn't she?
She's looking good.
Agnes, man.
She actually looks younger than Stacey, but that's because Stacey's been on the crack.
Aye.
So we played Brown Eyed Girl. Again, average. And I was like, well, I fucking told you. And we just burst into Killing in the Name.
Aye.
And they were like, this is fucking disgusting. Fuck you, I won't do what you're telling me. Do you know that song?
Aye.
And then obviously the moshers got up, like the 5 moshers of the 200 people at the wedding. And that's the worst thing about it, man. It was 200 people at this wedding. And I was like, this needs to be a great night. It's a great venue. We've got a good stage, brilliant dance floor, beautiful room. Bar's fully stocked. There's no excuse for it to be shit. And if it is shit, it's probably my fault. Okay. Down to me.
Never blame the audience.
Exactly. Yeah, it's
Sometimes it's your fault, but that got me that attitude. Never blame the audience.
exactly, man. Yeah, I there's two ways to look at it, and my dad always used to be like, "A workman's only as good as his tools," and that makes me think,
Hey, Bobies!
yeah, that made me go, well, a band's only as good as the audience. But the other phrase was, a good workman never blames his tools.
Aye,
You know,
totally.
and I was like, well, which one of these is it? Because it can't be both of them all the time. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go with the second one because it sounds like more fun.
Aye.
You know,
Aye.
a good workman never blames his tools, and a good band never blames the audience.
Aye.
You know, or
Totally,
comedian,
man,
you know.
totally.
So I was like, right, we're going to play Rage Against the Machine because you didn't dance the Brown Eyed Girl. We played Rage Against the Machine. 3 Rage songs in a row at a posh wedding or a more. And then just all the old folk are just not old, sorry, yeah, all the mature age.
You're being
category.
very ageist all night.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like young comedians. Old people are cunts as well.
Aye, we're all cunts, man. You know, middle-aged folk are cunts as well. You and I. And then I was just like, you know what? And after the second Rage song, I was like, I was looking at the people in the eye who were looking at me in the eye, going, "This is despicable." We played Killing in the Name, Guerrilla Radio. And Bullet in the Head. And they were just like, "This is disgusting." I was like, you know why we're doing this? Is because you didn't listen when I said, if you don't dance the Brown Eyed Girl, we're going to play Rage all night. And I was like, the next song you recognise, you better dance to, otherwise this is the rest of your night.
Aye.
And we played Sweet Home Alabama, where I was like, oh, it was Shag-a-Lang.
Shag-a-Lang.
I can't believe I'm still playing that song,
Fucking
man.
Shag-a-Lang.
And the fucking dance floor was heaving
Aye.
for the rest of the night.
See, that was good.
Because they were too scared to not dance.
Aye,
Because I would ruin their night.
Aye.
And the great thing is, the groom was a big rocker anyway, so he didn't give a fuck.
Aye.
Him and his mates were up dancing. But he did come up to me after the third Rage song and went, "Gonna lighten it up." And I was like, dude, this isn't my first rodeo.
Aye.
Right, I know what to do here.
You're fucking with him.
Yeah.
But they respect that though. They'll kind of go, he's a fucking idiot.
He's fucking serious
He's a
about
cunt.
this. Yeah,
Aye,
yeah, I am a bit of a cunt.
Aye, but that's a good thing, isn't it? I bet the rest of the night was good after that.
It was brilliant.
Aye.
They were too scared not to dance.
Aye.
That's what the thing was. So,
Aye.
but to be fair, we never had to resort to anything they wouldn't dance to after that, because they were just like on the floor.
So you emotionally, what's the word? You brainwashed them, fucking manipulated them emotionally.
Exactly. It's called, well, I always consider it to be like purposeful bombing. So you like, you do,
totally, man.
you do it on purpose because it can only go up once it's got down to the bottom.
I've seen comedians doing that.
Yeah.
I think
Really?
well, I haven't seen it, but I've heard a story about it. Johnny Vegas. You like Johnny Vegas?
Yeah, I love Johnny
He's
Vegas.
fucking
yeah.
brilliant, right? So Johnny Vegas, you can imagine him doing this, right? Apparently, I never seen him. I'd love to gig with you. I'd fucking love gigging with him. I'd love to. So apparently, before I started, he lived in Glasgow. So apparently he'd done the gigs in Glasgow. And what he would do, he would deliberately die in his hole. So
Instantly?
aye, God rest his soul. So aye. So he'd go on stage, he used to go on with a pottery wheel and shit like that, right? But he'd go on stage and deliberately make the audience hate him. It'd be that bad.
Well, this is the opposite of what we were just talking about earlier on, about how you should go on and be likeable and then
there's
be a dick.
right,
But if you're a professional, then you can get away with it.
Make him hate him, not in a just by being shite, not by being provocative.
Oh, I see, right.
So he would go on stage and deliberately be shite to the point of fucking awkwardness.
That's awesome.
So he'd create this horrible, awkward kind of people going, "Oh, this guy's shite," until people would start heckling him. But he'd lined this up.
Ah, right.
So you get to a point where it was dying in its hole, and people start heckling him, but you had a point where he'd turn, where he'd have a fucking breakdown, and he'd go mental.
Right.
He'd have like a psychological breakdown about what these people, why are you doing this to me? And I wasn't loved. I don't know but he'd just have a fucking rant.
Right.
With these bastards that didn't like him, but that would become his comedy.
That's brilliant.
And that was this fucking nutter. So he became this awkward shite comedian, but then he turned into this ranting lunatic, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
And the contrast was what made it.
Right.
And apparently there was one night. So this is comedians I knew that were older than me, that about longer. Apparently there was one night that I think it was The Stand, and he was he'd done this, and there was a guy giving him shit, and and he says, right, me and you on stage, get a table, we'll arm wrestle. If you win, I'll leave, and if I win, you leave. So this fucking arm wrestle got the crowd going. He won. The guy fucked off. He stormed the rest of the gig. So apparently we shite up to that point, but then this arm wrestle just changed everything.
Wow.
So there's that. So
That's
I was
fucking
telling you
brave.
earlier on, they kind of don't start off bad, but there's always exceptions to the rule.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know, if
Well,
you're
you
good
gotta
enough
know,
to bring it back.
Yeah, you've got to know the rules before you can break them, I
aye,
suppose,
aye.
you know. That's why you were saying, like, you know, it's not for me to go up and be a cunt straight away,
Aye.
but guys like Frankie Boyle can.
Oh, aye.
You know,
'Cause
I know you're not even in either ballpark there, are you? Because you're kind of you're just a likable personality
Aye,
on
aye,
stage, you
aye.
know.
That's right,
You
aye.
even said earlier about how there was a joke that you said that didn't suit your act or didn't
Aye.
suit your personality, so you gave it to another comedian.
Aye, he bought it
Yeah,
he bought it
20
off me
quid.
for $20 in Australia and a pint,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is probably a $10. That's fucking exhausting.
That's really brave of it. I never saw Johnny Vegas
Oh,
live, but I might actually have to try him. But then again, that probably wouldn't be something that's documented on Netflix or.
No,
You
no.
know.
There's a movie. I don't know if it's on Netflix. It's on YouTube called by Johnny Vegas. It's all his stand up, his mad stuff, and shitty clubs. It's called I've Got Ice Cream,
Right.
and basically the whole idea of the show is Johnny Vegas has got famous, which he did, and he starts off. He's doing a gig down south somewhere, dying in his hole, right? But this is part of the narrative of the show. So he's dying in his hole. Two guys kidnap him and take him to the Edinburgh Festival and force him to do shitholes. And it's just fucking brilliant. And you see him doing these shitholes, but he's doing it and it's real gigs.
Oh,
but he's
Jesus.
being his old Johnny Vegas, just being a fucking lunatic.
Right.
It's brilliant.
That's
See, some of the
amazing.
clips in it are phenomenal.
See, I wouldn't have thought there would be any shithole gigs at the Edinburgh Festival. I thought it was just 100%.
Oh, aye, 200-seater theatres.
Oh, right, okay, well,
okay.
but even I would have thought even the basement rooms would be packed full of comedy fans.
Oh, aye, I know there's some shitholes as well. So,
All right.
oh, aye, totally, aye. But the shitholes are sometimes better.
Right. Well, yeah, for you because you like that kind of atmosphere. You like
sometimes,
that challenge, you know.
aye.
But is that why you relate to Johnny Vegas a little bit? Like you like,
I
well,
think so, aye.
I like the challenge of
aye,
winning
aye.
folk
I like,
over.
I like mental gigs that you can go away and go, I remember that gig.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
fucking fun.
I do love that as well, man. Again, I can't really compare what we do to you because we're not doing original art. You guys are. But at the same time, the whole idea of winning over an audience is still the same.
Oh,
you know, whether you're doing, you know, comedy or covers music, and I still love the idea of winning over an audience.
Oh,
In fact,
even
I
if
got
it's
really,
fucked, innit? If the audience is fucked to go, right, bring it on.
yeah, it's
You're
so
like,
much. It's so much more fun when you've got a wee challenge going on,
Aye.
and it's already challenging because they don't know us. They're not there. That's the only difference between you and I is that most of the time when people are at your shows, they're there to see comedy,
Aye.
right? If people are at a wedding or a party, they're not there to see us.
Aye.
We have to
Aye, you're like background entertainment at a wedding, innit?
exactly, but I don't
Because if
like.
I'm at a wedding and chatting to somebody, or you know, because I'm not a dancer, so it's like aye, but it's still good doing it.
Yeah, but I don't like being background entertainment.
Aye,
I like to be
right.
the focus of attention. 90%
I know, I
of
get
the
it.
time.
I need the entertainer. Fucking love me, you cunts.
Yeah, well, that's why we're all here, isn't it?
Aye.
But yeah, that's one of the things I've done before is torpedo the gig within the first 5 minutes. Like we did this Hogmanay gig at the Brisbane House in Largs about 4 or 5 years ago, and we started. I mean, they were expecting a band to play like Lionel Richie and
Oh,
fucking.
that's two people on Twitch.
Oh, that's Guy Orchestra from about an hour ago.
Oh, is that one guy that? Sorry, there you go.
Yeah. And he goes, thanks for bringing up how little audience we have tonight,
Aye.
John. But, and I was like, you know, I'm just going to torpedo this gig. So we started with Monkey Wrench by the Foo Fighters, which I knew nobody would like or nobody
Aye.
would dance to because we just happened to have a great year. And I was
Aye.
like, let's just make it hard for ourselves tonight. So not only were they annoyed that there was a band instead of a DJ or karaoke on, but we started with a song that this audience of the average age of 55 to 60 would never have heard. And even if they had heard, probably wouldn't have enjoyed. You know. And then for the next hour, we just tried to bring it back. And it was like great because they started dancing with the second song. And it turned out to be an amazing gig.
Because they can sense that you don't give it, you kind of like get that rebellious about it. They can sense that, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, well that's what I did after the song. I was like, see that what we just played? We had no applause, by the way. There was about 200 people in the room. Nice big dance floor. You know, bar was there. It was fucking glamorous. And I was like, see that? That's what will happen for the next 4 hours if you don't dance. Right. It's just fucking next song was Crazy Little Thing. Superstition, I'm a Believer, Shut Up and Dance, you know. And they all just fucking got up. It's just like, it's such an easy little hack. But like we were just talking about, you have to know the rules in order to break them.
Oh, totally, you know, man. There's loads of wee things you can do.
Yeah.
And it's confidence that you kind of trust it to happen as well.
Yeah. Yeah. To know that you can pull it back if you need to. Yeah. It's a really handy tool.
I might do that my next gig, just dial my hole for the first 5 minutes. or punch the biggest guy in the room. Pick, who's the hardest guy in the room? Kick him in the face and go, right, who's up for comedy? Who's the biggest? Who's the biggest? Who's the gangster in the room? Just pick a gangster, kick him in the throat, and go. Anyway, there's these 2 dolphins.
Speaking of gangsters, we played this place called Linen 1906 on the south side, on the corner in Shawlands, and I'm talking about probably about 14, 15 years ago, and this guy comes in, was mobbed, and he accidentally kicked a bit of my mic stand as he was walking by. Suit, you know, quite well-to-do guy, and I was like, he kicked the mic stand, it went right in my fucking teeth. I was like, for fuck's sake, over the mic while I was playing. He goes, he fucking grabbed the mic off me and he went, aye, and if you talk to me like that again, I'll knock the rest of your teeth out.
Fuck's sake.
And he fucking smacked the mic right back into my face.
Fuck's sake.
I was like, great. Well, I've earned my 50 quid, I'm off.
Aye, fucking hell. Things like that, you just gotta go, you shite yourself.
Yeah, you just ate it, you know. Everybody's out there eating a shit sandwich.
But I would shite myself as well, right? But there's a guy, I'll tell you a story. There's a guy called Paul Perry. I don't know if you ever met him. He was back in the day, right? And he's a brilliant. He was a nutter as well, right? He done it. There's a few of them done a gig in Edinburgh years ago, and it was like full of Hibs casuals. Right, so then the down Leith Walk, rough as fuck. They're doing a gig and they're behind a pool table or something. I just get in and Hibs casuals everywhere after a game, all steaming, snorting coke and all that. And basically, Paul Perry is fucking fearless, right? It was brilliant. And this guy pinned Paul Perry to the pool table. So in the middle of his set, Paul Perry was. So I don't know the full story, but he was pinned to the pool table. But while this guy was pinning this big fucking nutter, was pinning Paul Perry to the pool, he had the microphone ripping the piss out of him. So he was like, "Hey, you big baldy bastard." So I don't know what he was saying, but he was putting him down. He was doing heckle put downs while this fucking psychopath Hibs casual had him pinned to the pool table. And the guy eventually just let him up and went, I can't deal with this. Just because he didn't give a shit.
That's amazing.
It was fucking brilliant, man.
Yeah.
I wish I was there.
Well, it's like that, is it Jack Nicholson thing? It's like, the less of a fuck you give, the better time you'll have.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
Oh, it's true. Totally true, man.
Yeah, I've never had the shit kicked out of me with all the shit I've said on the mic.
Nah.
So,
no, yeah.
And have you?
Nah.
You never got in a fight from what you've said on the mic?
Nah.
Right.
I get threatened.
And you must have said a lot worse than I ever have.
I get threatened when I started, right? So it was a gig, Latashi's, I don't even know it exists anymore. It was a wee pub somewhere in Glasgow, and it was my third gig or some fourth gig, and loads of my mates came, so the fear was fucking 10 times as much. Dying in front of strangers is fine.
Isn't it weird how when your mates are there, it's actually more intense than if you're just playing with strangers?
Now I don't give a shit, but back then, so they were all there. I was nervous. I drank a bottle of Buckfast in the bus on the way in. I hate Buckfast. I had about 6 pints, champagne, shots. Before I went on stage, I was steaming, and I said some horrible things to people in the audience. Just not even funny, horrible shit that I thought was funny. And basically everybody hated me, including my mates. I think I was horrible. I think it was just scared.
Amazing.
And basically somebody says, sit down or I'll fucking punch you. And I think the only reason I never get punched is because my mates were there.
Oh, Jesus
So,
Christ.
and I think that's the only, out of all the gigs I've done over the years, my mates have been to that have been good, that's the only one they talk about. The cunts.
Yeah, Jesus. But did your mates come and see you quite a lot back in the day, but they don't anymore?
They do, so a few of them came to the Edinburgh Festival, so some of them still turn
That's
up.
nice, man, yeah.
Aye.
I always feel like my
Those.
mates used to come and see me all the time when I was getting up there, but then they don't anymore because it's like they've taken the training wheels off.
Aye.
They go, oh, he's all right now.
Aye, he's doing
you know,
alright, aye.
especially the non-musicians. You know, the musicians, they come to the gigs because they want to be jam with us. You know, I'm like, I know why you're here, you cunt. You know,
You just want a gig, you bastard.
yeah, yeah. But at least you don't have that problem when it's comedy because it's not like you can go, oh, my mate wants to do a joke.
Aye.
There you go.
One up Stevie and do your racist joke that you told at primary school fucking all the years ago.
Yeah.
Aye.
But you don't do racist jokes or like that, do you?
No.
Well, nobody, no seasoned comedian does actual racist jokes, you know. Yeah.
I think you can talk about racist stuff like that as long as it's in context, but it's like, it's...
What do you think about, you want to wrap up soon?
We'll finish soon. I'm knackered now.
I felt the...
just knackered.
Get a bit antsy, yeah.
I've enjoyed it though, so just...
Well, that's good.
We've
That's
been
great,
here.
man.
This is like fucking March the 3rd now. I've got gigs in a couple of weeks.
I was going to ask you about how you feel. I mean, I guess it's not that much of an issue in the UK as opposed to America, but how do you feel about saying like racial slurs on stage and things like the N-word or
I don't...
the homophobic...
I'm all for it.
the homophobic F-word and things like that.
See...
Do you think if you need to use those words,
I don't know. It's not a thing. It's not a thing I do, so I can avoid it. I try not to do stuff like that because it's, it's not for me. But there's probably guys out there that do it in a way that's funny, and it's not attacking anybody. So it's like, I don't know. It's like punching. As long as you're punching up, I think, I don't know. It's like everybody's different, so I don't fucking know. I get uncomfortable. I kind of get uncomfortable talking about this stuff. No,
it's fine.
There's nothing wrong with it, but
I'm sorry to make you uncomfortable.
it's fine. It's just one of these things. But I remember, I'll tell you a story. There was years ago. There was a wee. There's a wee gay guy on doing a gig, right? And he was up there. He wasn't very good. The wee gay guy. He was doing his material, but his material was slagging off homeless people, and it was like being anti-Romanian homeless people in Glasgow and stuff. So it was being kind of anti-immigrant kind of stuff. So it was kind of nasty. Mm-hmm. So it was like so it was just, it wasn't even funny. It was just kind of being nasty towards immigrants and because of their race and stuff like that. And it was horrible. The audience hated them. And then they come off and he says, "I don't think they like me because I'm a bit camp." I was like, "It's fuck all to do with that, man. You were with a wee racist." They didn't give a because audience don't give a shit about that. It was your content.
Yeah.
It wasn't because you're camp. Nobody gives a shit about that. It's because you were a racist wee cunt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, aye. So it's just things like that.
He was just trying to deflect and make it a different reason why they didn't like him.
Aye. So there was nothing to do because the audience they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit who you are, what your sexual orientation, your race is. But if you're being a horrible cunt to somebody else, they'll go, right, we don't like that.
Right.
So,
right. Is he a popular comedian?
No, I don't think he's doing it anymore.
All right.
I don't think he's doing it anymore.
For that reason?
Probably, aye.
Right.
Aye.
Oh, shit.
Aye.
Yeah, that's what we were saying earlier. Like, people try to be edgy before they've really earned their right to be that, you know what I mean?
It wasn't even fun. It was just, you could but it was intention behind it. So you can say things like that, but you can tell somebody's intention behind it.
Ah, right, okay.
You could tell he kind of meant what he was saying. Whereas if you're saying it in a way that was kind of, they knew that you didn't really mean it, but he said it, this is his beliefs kind of thing, and you're going, all right, okay.
It's not like that.
Aye. So if your intention behind a joke isn't you can say certain words, but if your intention is different from what the word means, it's not a thing I do because I'm not very good at that stuff. But you know, if somebody does it well, you know. So
well, it's not even in
it's a difficult thing. It's a difficult thing.
It's not really even in your ballpark of what you joke about. Anyway, is it? You know, you just joke about day-to-day stuff. And,
aye. So it's a thing I kind of go. I just it scares me. So I was like, no, I don't want to get.
I don't write songs about politics because it's not something I know anything about.
But it kind of I get bored with it as well. I was like, I don't want to get involved in talking about shit like that. I just gotta go. I just rather avoid it.
Yeah,
you know.
And to be fair, like I mean, I think that people who go to comedy shows, they're probably sick of it as well.
Aye.
They just want to hear. They're just there to laugh.
If you say it in a good way, if you say it in a funny way, fair enough. If you're a provocative comedian, it's fair enough.
Right.
But it's like, for me, it was like, no, I'm scared. I'd rather just talk about coming back as a horse in my next life, stuff like that.
What was that we were talking about earlier? You said about coming back as a horse, but you couldn't do something because of the hoofs.
You couldn't eat crisps. So, so if you go back as a horse and you wanted like a packet of Monster Munch, you're fucked.
Yeah.
and you can't ask MD because you don't speak human anymore.
Yeah.
You know, people just think you're mental. This horse is upset.
So as far as the reincarnation thing, are you really going to stick with a horse?
I don't know.
I went with dolphin, if you remember rightly.
Aye.
Right.
I don't know.
The freedom. There's more sea than there is land.
Maybe I know. Maybe.
You know.
Aye.
Anyway.
But I like playing snooker as well, so a dolphin you can't really go for a game, can you?
Well, yeah. You're not gonna.
Well,
you can use your nose as the cue.
But you can't get into a club. I thought about this.
You make your own club under the sea. Under the sea. Guys, it's been a pleasure to hang out with you tonight.
That was fun, man. That was fun.
I've had John Obie O'Brien on with us tonight. It's MexiGary here on Twitch. And John, are you going to join us again soon?
I'll come back, definitely.
That'd be great.
I'll get a beer the next time, Gary, because I brought my car tonight, so next time we'll maybe have a beer.
That'd be great, man.
Wreck the place.
Great. It's been nice to actually dissect the inner work, because like I said, you're the first comedian that's been on. It's been nice to dissect the inner workings of what it is to be a stand-up, which is something I harbour, ambitions of trying again at some point.
Go for it.
I just don't know if I've got that funny bone
Just
that guys like yourself do.
So,
but you never know, guys. Maybe you'll see me. I might do a wee. I'm going to the States in February, so I might try a tight 5 there.
I wanted to see it on Twitch.
You want to see it on Twitch? All right, well, maybe I'll stream it on here.
Aye.
Alex Waite will do it for me because he's going to come with me. Well, actually, I'm meeting him there. So, guys, thank you very much for hanging out if you have been.
Cheers,
and we'll see you on YouTube if you're not here right now. And make sure you check out Obie's links, which I'll put in the post down below.
Down there.
Down there.
Down there. Where is it there?
Down there, exactly there.
Down there.
That's exactly where it's going to be.
I want it there, so
Yeah.
I'm going the ring.
No, you're right. Right, exactly
so that's there. Goes that way.
Yeah.
Come and see me. Come and see my hang. I'm doing shows and that, so come and see them.
Yes. So you got your comedy workshop as well, though?
Aye, and that's on the 5th of February.
5th of February.
This probably won't boot me. Will it?
No, it will be.
It will be.
I'll make sure it's out pretty pronto, man. Right, guys, thanks very much for hanging out, and make sure you go and check out Obie's workshop and his live shows.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.